Hey, you guys, so we are at my brother's book signing. I'm so proud of him. I'm putting
I know, to me, that is so real. It's more than just him wanting to be a superhero character. To me, that is a part of who he is, a part of the call that is on his life, because his life is truly ordained to save people. I mean, if something is going on, he can be riding down the street, and people are not even aware until they see this man show up. It's like Clark Kent turns into Superman, right? So that's exactly who this man is. It doesn't matter whether he knows you or whether he does not know you. If someone is in duress, if someone is in need, if someone is in hurting, this man will sacrifice himself to come on the scene to help wherever help is needed. So let's put our hands together, stand on your feet for Author Leland Snell.
I love when God does that, when you have a plan and then he says it's his plan. I love that. First off, I just want to acknowledge everybody in this room. Everybody in this room that's here right now is a difference from people from Atlanta, people from Florida, people from all over the world. It's the people in your own backyard that has had an instrumental part of your development, your growth. The people that are sitting in this room are all people that I love very dearly, man. You're very close to me, and you're here for a reason. You could have been anywhere, but you're here. So I just want to thank you. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Smoke and Mirrors, the book itself is not my book. Although I wrote it, it's not my book. It's God's book. And it took Brother Vincent Taylor to tell me that the book doesn't belong to me. And at first I was like, are you kidding me? Because I went through a whole lot to write this book. But the fact of the matter is, it's not my book, it's God's book, and it's his plan, and it's his daughter, that's my wife, and it's, I don't own any of this. I'm just written, and I'm just gifted enough, or he's gifted me enough to be able to write a book from the most intimate part of my life and share it with the world, so I'm extremely humble. I wrote this book, homeless, hungry, and extremely humble. And a situation happened to me that just, it broke me. It broke me. And in the word it said, God comes to the aid of a broken and contrite spirit. And it takes you to be in a rock bottom place sometimes. Some people just only call on God if they're close to death or they go into jail. This guy is something extreme, and they want to grab God like a genie in a bottle and rub it in God. Come, please help me right now. Come save me. And hey, I'm just thankful that whatever it took, it brought me to a place to where He was able to talk to me. And if He wants to talk to you, there's no extreme that He won't go through to talk to you. It's some very key people in this room that took the time out to talk to me, to lead me, to guide me. My brother, TJ.
Yeah.
My brother, man. He broke down in a time of my need. I was homicidal at the time. I was homicidal. He broke down to me. He showed me real plain. Because at times, my brother has been a father to me. He's my younger brother, but the spaces where it was needed at that time. We come to each other and talk. He said, man, if you kill these people, you're going to do something that's very, very selfish. It's not just your life that will be taken. It affects my life. It affects your kids' lives. It affects everybody's life around you. It's a domino effect. But we all lose at the end of this decision. So I had to make a very hard decision because it's what I wanted and then what I had to face. I had to trust my journey. And it meant for me to go homeless. It meant for me to not have, when I wanted. It led to me scrounging around my car floor looking for enough money to buy something on the balcony. 4 years. 4 years ago. 4 hard years. But in the midst of that, I was able to write in that pain. My brother Mage, words cannot explain. Many, many nights. Many, many nights. Because I was a traveling homeless dude. I was homeless, but I wasn't, because I pull up into a driveway and go to sleep. I felt at home in certain places. If I wanted to be close to my kids, I fall asleep in the park close to them. And I wrote. God said, write your way out. Write. Just write it all down. Write it all down. And so, long story short, because it's already written, writing in that time, writing in that hurt, in that pain, is what developed Smoke and Mirrors. The title came about because often in this life, one of the tricks of the enemy is to get us to focus on the smoke diversion of what's going on, to divert us from the image as we walked around. And I got that from coming to Celebrate Recovery. That example that you guys saw, we have a program here called Celebrate Recovery. That Brother Vince and Sister Natalie Taylor, Davis, my mother-in-law, they're all involved in this every Friday. And he came up to me and he handed me a card, and on that card they had all these mental health disorders on there. And he said, which one of these are you? And I looked at him, I said, all of them. All of them. Because whether you know it or not, we're all at some point have been suffering from mental health issues. This is what's plaguing our community. This is what's plaguing each and every one of our lives since slavery. This is passed down generationally. Mental health issues. But back to the smoke and mirrors of it all. The smoke diversion is to get you to look into the mirror and see the image of yourself. But first and foremost, the image of Christ. The Word. The Word is the image. You begin to see the mirror of yourself as you read the Word. So he does everything possible. He's a coward man. He does everything possible. Throw everything at you. But the kitchen sink sometimes. In order for you not to see yourself in the mirror. And what is that? The identity crisis. If you don't know who you are, you're just roaming around. Agency, roaming around. And that's what I was doing. I was roaming around. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to find myself in a woman. I was trying to find myself in the streets, trying to find myself in music, whatever I could indulge in. But he wanted me to be by myself. Did whatever I had to do, he had to do to have me by himself so he could talk to me. So this is what this book has been written about. It is a testimony of my life. I thought it was over when I first wrote it. I thought the book was done. I went to DC. I met a man by the name of Sean Blanchard at a BB convention. BB is incredible. It's a group of African American brothers that are changing the narrative around the world. I've never seen so many brothers coming together in one place in DC. I met a man named Sean Blanchard, another man named Shaka Senghor. Shaka Senghor, they are both world. Shaka did 25 years in prison, wrote a book in prison, and Oprah Winfrey picked his book up. And he has been all over the world. And he wrote his way out. He has a book called Righting My Wrongs. And Sean Blanchard is another man who sat me down and was like, let me hear what you got. And I gave him a couple chapters and he was like, okay, how old are you? At the time I was 34. And he was like, you wrote a book about yourself. So what? And I was like, huh? That threw me. So what? What do you mean, so what? He said, yeah, you wrote a book about yourself. So what? How does it help somebody else? You 34 years old, you wrote a song, so nobody care about your story, about who you are, and all that. How does it help somebody? And God used him in that moment because it stirred my spirit, and God said, go over the book again. And when I went over it again, I noticed that each chapter that I wrote about when I was playing a victim at some point, blaming other people, you know how we do that sometimes? I know I don't want. We blame people for our mistakes. We blame people for why things, woe is me, why my life isn't right. Oh, it's my mom's fault, it's my dad's fault, I wasn't raised right. I didn't have this, I didn't have that. We do that all the time. We point fingers, but we never look in the mirror. So what that caused me to do was look into the mirror and say, I was suffering from something. God, what was it? And in each chapter, all 40 chapters, he showed me that I was suffering from different mental health issues. Every chapter. Wow. So what you'll find is at the conclusion of each chapter, it's not so much about who was wrong or right. It's about finding that identity of what was going on at that time. And it's a mental health issue at the end of each chapter. And then the book will begin to get intimate with you, because those who have a copy, the paperback is really, really special, because at the end of each chapter there's a Q&A. It's going to ask you some very personal questions. That's between you and God. You can write right in that book, a personal journal. You can write in there and say, hey, man, this really sounds like something I was going to do. That Brother Vince and Sister Natalie Taylor, Davis, my mother-in-law, they're all involved in this every Friday. And he came up to me and he handed me a card, and on that card it had all these mental health disorders on it. And he said, which one of these are you? And I looked at him and I said, all of them. All of them. Because whether you know it or not, we're all at some point have been suffering from mental health issues. This is what's plaguing our community. This is what's plaguing each and every one of our lives. Since slavery, this is passed down generational mental health issues. But back to the smoke and mirrors of it all. The smoke diversion is to get you to look into the mirror and see the image of yourself. But first and foremost, the image of Christ. The Word. The Word is the image. You begin to see the mirror of yourself as you read the Word. So he does everything possible. He's a coward man. He does everything possible, throwing everything at you, but to get you sick sometimes, in order for you not to see yourself in the mirror. And what is that? An identity crisis. If you don't know who you are, you're just roaming around. Aimlessly roaming around. And that's what I was doing. I was roaming around. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to find myself in a woman. I was trying to find myself in the streets, trying to find myself in music, whatever I could indulge in. But he wanted me to be by myself. Did whatever I had to do, he had to do to have me by himself so he could talk to me. So this is what this book has been written about. It is a testimony of my life. I thought it was over when I first wrote it. I thought the book was done. I went to DC. I met a man by the name of Sean Blanchard at a BB convention. BB is incredible. It's a group of African American brothers that are changing the narrative around the world. I've never seen so many brothers coming together in one place in DC. I met a man named Sean Blanchard, another man named Shaka very prominent African-American authors that are known around the world. Shaka did 25 years in prison, wrote a book in prison, and Oprah Winfrey picked his book up. And he has been all over the world. And he wrote his way out. He has a book called Righting My Wrongs. And Sean Blanchard is another man who sat me down and was like, let me hear what you got. And I gave him a couple chapters and he was like, okay, how old are you? At the time I was 34. And he was like, you wrote a book about yourself. So what? And I was like, huh? That threw me. So what? What you mean, so what? He said, yeah, you wrote a book about yourself. So what? How does it help somebody else? You 34 years old, you wrote a song, so nobody cared about your story, about who you are, and all that. How does it help somebody? And God used it in that moment because it stirred my spirit, and God said, go over the book again. And when I went over it again, I noticed that each chapter that I wrote about when I was playing a victim at some point, you know, blaming other people, you know how we do that sometimes? I know I don't want. We blame people for our mistakes. We blame people for why things, woe is me, why my life isn't right. Oh, it's my mom's fault, it's my dad's fault, I wasn't raised right. I didn't have this, I didn't have that. We do that all the time. We point fingers, but we never look in the mirror. So what that caused me to do was look into the mirror and say, I was suffering from something. God, what was it? And in each chapter, all 40 chapters, he showed me that I was suffering from different mental health issues. Every chapter. Wow. So what you'll find is at the conclusion of each chapter, it's not so much about who was wrong or right. It's about finding that identity of what was going on at that time. And it's a mental health issue at the end of each chapter. And then the book will begin to get intimate with you, because those who have a copy, the paperback is really, really special, because at the end of each chapter there's a Q&A. It's going to ask you some very personal questions. That's between you and God. You can write right in that book, a personal journal. You can write in there and say, hey, you know, man, this really sounds like something I was going through. I mean, have you ever had a narcissistic step-parent? Have you ever suffered from ODD, opposition, defiance disorder, where you don't like authority at all? I mean, have you suffered from things? They will ask you that question. And then at the conclusion,
The computer was still playing R&B, and a group member threw me her bra and said, "She foul, bro." I punched the computer in half and flung open the front door of the house. I punched our family picture off the wall, breaking glass on the floor. I was so hurt. The rage surged through my body. I walked towards Sanaya, grabbing her by the throat, walking her into the bathroom. I screamed at her. "Why did you do this to me, Sanaya? Why?" The devastation was unbearable. My world stopped at this very moment. Here I was working towards changing our lives, sacrificing, and in return, this is what I get? I never cheated on her. And being a signed artist, I had the largest platform to do anything with anyone I wanted to. I was furious. I couldn't put my hands on that officer, but I planned on hitting him where it hurt. Sanaya and I talked about what happened, but I did most of the talking, expressing how betrayed I felt. I truly loved Sanaya, so I tried to escape reality through all of the warmer memories I had of her. She denied doing anything sexual with him, but the evidence was there. The mere fact that she deceived me was all the truth I needed. She cried and begged, promising not to do it again. I forgave her. I was deeply in love and had the love of God in me. So it was easy to verbally forgive my wife. However, my natural man would not let me forget it. I decided to move forward, sweeping the dirt under the rug, which wasn't the best method. The affair got around town pretty fast. I forgot. My group was there, which meant their wives and baby mamas knew exactly what happened. All the information you need to get your personal copy of Smoke and Mirrors, written by Leland Snell, a Clark Kent production, is in the description below. The link is also supplied. You won't want to miss this. And you guys, I'm going to do a deep dive on this book, so get your own personal copy so you can read along with me.